very, very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I think this panel deserves a much louder round of applause. So first of all, I want to dismiss a myth here that women are talkative. I think the men took away most of our airtime before this. Do you agree with us? Yes. And having made that point, I'm honored to be a moderator on this power-packed panel. A little while back, I was going through my notes, and Mr. Bakaya came in and told me, "You look very serious." What does one do when you have some women doing some serious work in this industry and making a huge, huge mark for us? So ladies, thank you for being here. We are so, so honored to have you on this panel. And mind you, the beauty of this panel is we did not just discuss what question and answers are coming their way. We also discussed who's wearing which color, which lipstick's going with which dress, and that's the power of women. We want to look good, we want to sound good, and most of all, we want to do some great, great work. So thank you for embodying all those values. Because of paucity of time, all the men took away our airtime, and also the fact that the lady here did introduce this panel to you, I would not go for individual introductions, and I would drive straight into the questions. Mrs. Suri, if I may direct my first question to you. What leadership principles or values from your family do you find most impactful in the role that you play today?
So we as a family have imbibed inclusiveness, and it's not coming from me, it's coming from Lalit, from Rameshji, from my children. And we're an extremely inclusive organization. I just want to very proudly share with all of you. We've been working very closely with marginalized communities, and at this point of time, we have more than 200 transgenders working for us. Rather than them standing on the streets and begging. And so we have skilled them. You don't have to be a Harvard graduate to come into hospitality, because hospitality covers such a wide spectrum. So we skill them and then give them jobs. We have 150 people who are differently abled. And we have 25 young girls who I call acid warriors, because some member of their family has thrown acid on them. And I encourage them to stay in the back. They come forward. And in fact, some of them used to come with a veil on their face, and we've changed that. So we are very proud of the inclusiveness that we have, and going forward, my next generation is carrying it forward.
Wow. I think it is about touching lives. It's not just about a salary earned. It is about how you walk in with your head held high and earn your living. So thank you for that. Any other values that you've carried forward from your family to the business that you run today?
Well, the other is service. I mean, you know, we got into this business because it is a service industry. And we do need to keep that as topmost priority. So service to our customer, service to our team, and service to the nation. That's the other value that we very strongly uphold.
Thank you so much. That's a beautiful answer. Kavita, coming to you, my question to you is, what are the few challenges that you anticipate coming our way in the industry, and how would you navigate through that to be a winning team?
Thanks for the question, Ranju. You know, I feel India is rapidly growing, and this is very evident when we look at the hospitality sector today. Hospitality industry contributes to almost, I think, 8% of GDP in India. It is one of the leading drivers in the tourism segment. Having said that, I feel there are many challenges that the hospitality sector faces today, but I'd like to address a few. I think the number one which comes to my mind is talent pool. Hiring and retention of the manpower. In India, there are about 1,500 recognized hospitality schools. Among principals, only Taj, ITC, and Oberoi's had their own hospitality schools. Even though, as principals, I understand the role play of a principal is of being an operator, managing hotels. But I really feel the need of the hour today is for our principals to invest in these schools. Reason being, I think they would get the first mover's advantage to pick up the right talent. Secondly, I feel they can drill into the candidates, into their DNA literally, the values that they have of their brand, of their operations, right at the inception of the time of the candidate walking into the hospitality school. Thirdly, I also feel since the principals have diverse businesses, I mean hotels all over the world, they can also be very, they can make a promise to the candidate that they will have a great learning experience in different parts of the country. This will, I feel, empower our principals to have employees retain with them for a very long period of time in their network. Also, they can groom them as future leaders. Having said that, I think second important challenge I feel with the hospitality sector is facing today is growth in the unorganized sector in tourism, the growth of local hospitality hosts. They might not be a big threat to, I think, in luxury hotels, but definitely a very big challenge to mid-segment hotels and budget hotels. I feel these unorganized sector, they offer cheaper tariffs because they do not have large investments or high manpower costs, but, and also they do not believe in statutory requirements like I feel no registration with the tourism or taxation, no legal formality with the fire department, labor, acceptance of high cash payments, and also I feel they basically do not follow KYC compliances. There is basically no legal checks and balances with these guys. So I feel as a hotel federation, as a forum, we can appeal to the Ministry of Tourism to get all this unorganized sector under one umbrella of legal compliances and policies of the tourism. Also, we can, sort of run an awareness drive in our own database to the people to make them aware of the difference of experiences like lack of, I would say, risk, the security risk, which these unorganized sector might have because lack of KYC norms. Yet another challenge to my mind is connecting with our people, especially our young millennials and Gen Zs. Because I feel India is a very young country, booming with young population. So these millennials and Gen Zs are the future growth drivers. They have different perceptions, different expectations, and it's very important to tap into them. I think we should definitely, in a way, have a very innovative social media platform for them, be it Instagrams, WhatsApp messages. Also, I feel that they are the growth drivers of the future, so definitely they are very much required to be staying connected with the industry. Another big challenge we are witnessing today is change in the guest expectations, especially post-COVID scenario. I think we are fast moving from a world of customer satisfaction to customer gratification. Post-COVID, I think, has seen birth of different travel segments, be it digital nomads, bi-leisure travelers, also sustainable travelers. I feel even the hospitality industry had to kind of expand their capabilities to cater to the needs of such travelers. Also, I feel another challenge, the most important challenge, in fact, I feel is the data security challenges that industry is facing. I mean, data leakages and cyber virus attacks are the most important challenge I feel any hotelier is facing today. So definitely, I feel that, if you look from the organizational point of view, the largest contributor to is the legacy system. And from a consumer lens point of view, I feel the large contributor is, fishing even today is a large contributor for that matter. Taking all this into cognizance, I feel that today government is also being very stringent about the guidelines that they are saying towards data security, storage, and also towards the leakages. And I feel tokenization will also go a long way in putting a lint over this kind of a challenge. Thank you.
Some very, very pertinent points, you know, especially with data security, lack of talent, and of course the unorganized sector of the hospitality industry. I think Goa being the prime example. Moving on from challenges, Nirupa, what are the current trends that you see in the hospitality industry? It's ever evolving, but what are some of the current trends that you witness in the hospitality industry?
Good evening. So I think with trends, you know, they are transitory. I think as hotel owners, the challenge is not in looking at what is the next trend, because it could change from one year to the other. I think as a hotel owner, as a hotel developer and an operator, you have to look at how do I build this asset from when it's designed to when it's constructed is 5 years later. So how do you future-proof that asset, not just for 5 years, but 10 years and 20 years and 30 years? Because once you build it, there's not much you can change apart from cosmetic changes. So, okay, you have a hotel and you have a restaurant that is not doing well. Okay, can I change it into a banquet hall? You know, you have a spa that's doing really well and you need an extra room for a salon. Maybe you change the owner's office into another salon. Don't do that, but just as a suggestion. So I think with, you know, trends, of course there are trends. Food and beverage is one way in which hotels can distinguish themselves or set themselves apart. I think a lot of hotel brands are now focusing on the vibe of the hotel, which is what sets them apart, and who their target audience is, whether it's Gen Z or Gen Alpha, which is the next generation that we're targeting. But I think more than keeping up with the trend, and I think we'll be facing a losing battle if we just try to keep up with the trends, I think it's to see, hey, how do I future-proof this asset to withstand the test of time? So that's how I would look at, you know, trends are, like I said, transitory in nature, and as an operator you have to sort of keep abreast with it, and you can do it because the changes are mostly cosmetic. So I would actually look at hotels and see, hey, how do I build an asset that will be successful over 30, 40, 50 years? And one of the ways to do that, and I think the earlier panel sort of touched upon that, was to build a hotel that is authentic to the place that it is located at. Whether you're building for a tier 2 market, then don't splurge on, you know, spending 1 crore a key in a tier 2 market. You're building in a resort, then do something that is authentic to that location. And likewise, that's how I would look at trends.
I think that's a very similar statement and sentiment to what the previous panel spoke about the location and the quality of hotel. And I think we have a lot of general managers in the audience today, and they will definitely benefit from the fact that when owners make hotels, they don't make it for a short period of time. It's a legacy they want to leave behind. Talking of legacies, Debasree, you are heading the Peerless group, which is steeped in legacy, right? So there are traditions on one side and there's innovation, that's the catchword on the other side. As a leader of the group, how do you align the tradition and the innovation and yet manage to look forward to win the world?
I think when we talk about Peerless, you know, the first word that comes to everybody's mind is trust. And that's the biggest tradition. And the trust, whether it's between employees or whether it's between your colleagues or, for the matter of fact, with your guest. So, you know, we need to constantly upgrade the expectation and the experience that the guest wants from us, whether it is by way of renovating a new floor or, you know, bringing in, having a new hotel, expanding. So it is a matter of how you keep on changing and keep updated with the new trends that are there. And that is the only way you'll be able to live up to the expectation of the guest. And, you know, But since you're talking about tradition and innovation, one key important thing in tradition has been, especially in Peerless, I've seen how we treat our employees. You know, that is something which I don't know whether it has been whether it is being followed in some other organization. I heard my father using a term called servant leadership. Now, what is this servant leadership? So, servant leadership is an extremely inclusive approach. So, you know, we encourage employees, you know, to come up, discuss, and take their opinion, so that, you know, that also helps us, you know, improvise the way we are offering to the guest. So that is also, you know, one more important tool for us, you know, to enhance guest expectation and experience.
Wow, I think the key words, servant leadership, I think it's a learning for me as well today to be sitting here and listening to those words. And you're right, I mean, it is challenging to have the tradition alive and yet being modern and carrying the business along.
Absolutely, because 90 years, you know, that's how old the group is, and the hospitality wing is 30-year-old wing. Wow. And so that's what we did, you know. We started off with one hotel in Calcutta, then we moved on to, you know, Durgapur, and then we opened another Hyderabad, Port Blair. So that's how it is, you know. We went on understanding what the guest needs are, and we went on, you know, bringing it them, presenting it them into their way.
Sure. To those of you who are not from Calcutta or who haven't been to Calcutta, the Aheli restaurant at the Peerless serves great Bengali food in case you want to try. Mrs. Suri, coming back to you, this is a semi-personal professional question. You are the leader of your family, and you're also the leader of the business. And there are professional boundaries and there are personal boundaries, professional commitments, personal commitments. How do you balance the two?
So when I'm in the boardroom and I am in my professional avatar, and I have 3 children who are my executive directors who work with me, it's completely professional. There is no family relationship at all. So through the day while we are working, it's about me being the chairperson and them being executive directors. Of course, we do break at lunch, and that's the time when we become a family again. You cannot mix family and profession. It just doesn't work because your decisions get biased, and that's what you don't want to do. As a leader, you have to take certain decisions which are good. Personally, they may not be the best for other members of your family, but as a leader, you have to take the right decision, and therefore, professional and personal lives should not mix. There's a place for the professional life, and there's a place for the personal life. And if you can do that, and I've done it very successfully, and I certainly feel that everyone else can do it so. To be honest with you, I don't know how my husband Lalit would have done it. I'm sorry for all the men sitting here, but I think women in this matter are definitely more practical, and they are able to break away from the personal life and the professional life. So that's how it gets very well taken care of.
Oh, that's so beautiful and so inspiring. We spoke a lot about inclusion, that Mrs. Suri, that you mentioned about. That takes us to the other side of the coin, which is diversity. Kavita, if my question can come to you next. How do you promote diversity, inclusion in your workspace, both in the automobile as well as the hospitality sector?
Well, Ranju, I feel diversity and inclusion are the key pillars for, you know, cultural belongingness among the team members. You know, it only makes an organization more strong, productive, effective, and efficient. You know, when team members are valued and respected, they feel a little more connected with the organization. They, in fact, perform better. They are very effectively collaborated, and also they kind of, you know, do a lot for your organizational goals. I think first and foremost, it's very imperative for an organization to embrace diversity. You know, we need to have a working environment where we allow our employees to express themselves very openly. They need to have the freedom of sharing their ideas without the fear of judgment. And also, it's very important, you know, to celebrate their achievements and their success stories. Secondly, I feel it's very important that I like to promote equity. You know, facilitate, be transparent for their performance evaluation, the recognition systems. And also, I like to involve them in the process making and policies of the organization. Another strategy which I focus on is building trust. I think when the team members trust each other, they are more confident, secured, they believe in team building activities, and also, you know, their productivity is definitely higher. I also feel that, you know, a certain amount of care, compassion, empathy should be shown towards your employees, your teammates' progress and well-being. I like to empower my teammates for taking their own decisions. I also allow them to take some amount of calculated risks and let them learn from their mistakes. I mean, that's very, very important. Also, I feel we need to kind of have a shared vision, a mission, and values which somehow go in alignment with your team's, with your organization's goals and values. Lastly, of course, I definitely am focusing on women empowerment and their security. I think in hospitality sector, there are about 55% female participants on a global level. In hospitality, though the involvement of women is high, but I feel their role play is somehow downplayed and into a section where it is for unskilled, low-paid jobs kind of a situation. I feel HR needs to play a very vital role in their in somehow building up their security kind of a thing, have very transparent and correct policies for sexual harassment, have appropriate HR policies for encouraging women to build somehow a balancing life factor between their work and social life and family life, have a steady path for their careers, have an adaptive and somehow secured appropriate environment like flexible working hours. I like to also focus right now, which I've currently actually started doing at my work, is focusing on the skills of people with disabilities and also kind of recognizing them and giving them jobs accordingly. Thanks.
Wonderful. And I must add that all four of you ladies are walking the talk. Who could be a better inspiration than all of you in your organizations to keep the flame burning bright? So thank you for that. Nirupa, coming back to you, you have a very strong family legacy of hospitality. And as the leader, how do you see yourself strengthening that, evolving it, making it bigger, better, stronger?
I think as a second generation entrepreneur, your job is to somehow find a way to move it to the third generation. If you look at all businesses, about 80% of all businesses are first gen. Only about 30% move to the second gen, and only 11% move to the third gen, and only 4% move to the fourth gen. So I think if you're running a business and you want to leave behind a legacy, then as a second gen, first of all, you have to find a way to move from a very person-oriented business, which is what the first gen entrepreneurs are usually, the visionaries and the very inspiring rags to riches stories. And so you have to find a way to move from that to a more system and process driven organization. And so we're in that journey right now at Brigade. And with regards to hospitality, I think we're living in very exciting times. As builders, and as Ashish had mentioned, we've been building in tier 1 cities, very business hotels in tier 1 cities, taking the safe route when it comes to hospitality, because as it is an asset class that requires a lot of risk. But my mind says to keep going with the business hotels in tier 1 cities, but the heart wants to build hotels in leisure destinations, because I think the power of a hotel is it can create a destination. One large, big or one large spectacular resort location or resort hotel can open up that entire location to the globe. And I think that is the power of what hotels can do. They can open up locations to the entire globe. So I think my desire is to continue to build, of course, great hotels for authentic to that location, but also more iconic hotels, and hopefully get into the resort space as well, because I guess that's where the future of domestic tourism lies.
We have Raj in the audience. I'm sure he's listening to all your plans very keenly and take it forward. But Debasree, to you again, give us 2 key lessons that you have learned as a leader in this industry, which you will carry on for life.
I think empathy is the key. And being very patient, patiently listening to what the problems are. These are the 2 very key things. Especially, we know that hospitality industry is extremely demanding. So you got to be very empathetic, with whosoever you're working with. There are times when the market is good, you're performing well. Market is bad, you're performing bad. Yes, you need to, back them, but you also need to pat their back. These are the 2 important things which I think is empathy and giving a patient, hearing them out. And this is something, it's extremely important.
Oh, spoken like a true woman with so much of emotional quotient, right? We talk about EQ all the time. And taking a cue from the men who overrun their time quite a bit, may I take 1 more minute to show you that the ladies are not just about serious business, but also about fun. So Debasree, quickly, what's your favorite food?
Puchka or pani puri?
Puchka, for the uninitiated, is golgappa.
It's golgappa or pani puri?
Or pani puri as well. All right. Kavita, 1 experience on your bucket list.
I have yet to go to Northern Lights.
Oh my God. Okay, take me with you.
Definitely.
Mrs. Suri, your favorite holiday destination?
Egypt. It's been one of the most memorable holidays that I ever had. As I went down the Nile River, it's absolutely spectacular, and the Egyptians really know hospitality. So Egypt it is.
Wonderful. Nirupa, you are an iron woman. Oh my God, I almost fell off my chair when I got to know that. And you have 2 beautiful children, one as young as 4 years old. How do you manage, 1, to balance, and the more important question, to look the way you do?
Time management, I guess. Wake up really early, go to sleep really early as well, become a little boring. And I think the sports and the other side of me really helps me with the work as well, helps me become a lot more focused and disciplined. So the professional and the personal sort of integrate that way.
Wonderful. Thank you, audience. I hope you enjoyed this session. We love being here. Thank you.